All right, from the spot I love in Harrah's, where I'm on levels 4, level 5, and level 6 at the same time, I must be at the nexus of the universe. Final video in the poker dealing series portion, which was a large chunk of this year. A few things I wanted to mention. One thing was that it's incredible how efficient it is, like being on the clock. Like I'm on the clock and then I am until I'm not. Playing poker is way different. I actually thought I would really like struggle for time this summer, and I didn't. I went to eat with Herbs and Rye a bunch. I went to the farmer's market twice. Actually, I think once was after the series was over, but to buy pralines from Trooper. Filmed a lot, edited a lot, did a ton with the channel. It wasn't as stressful as I thought. So if I'm gonna play 8 hours of poker, I don't settle for bad games. So it might mean like waiting for a seat. I get that seat, but I had to wait. And then after, like, if the game's bad, table change. If that game's bad, table change, and then walk somewhere else. Might mean walking from like Bally's to Aria to Caesars, Caesars to Venetian. Might be walking to the monorail, waiting for the monorail, and then taking the monorail somewhere, and then walking from the monorail to the poker room in Westgate, for example, and maybe waiting for a seat. Like 8 hours of playing poker in Vegas could mean it's like 13 hours between when I leave my room and when I return to my room at the end of the day. 8 hours on the clock at Orleans means like I got there early, so like for the first 20 minutes I was just like sitting there, and then I clock in, and then 8 hours later I clock out. 8 hours on the clock at Orleans probably meant I was in the building for like 8 hours 20 minutes. It was so efficient. There were so many days I woke up like almost 3 hours before I had to clock in, mostly to do baseball trivia, and I guess a little to look at the comments on the video that went up that day. And then I worked a full day, and then I came back and like wasn't in a rush. I had time to like edit, I had time to film and then edit, I had time to watch YouTube videos and like get a full night's sleep. I didn't expect that, but that was very efficient. Not like playing poker could be. Second thing is about next summer or even later this year. So I was looking at other poker series. The thing is, besides the summer, it's like every series is like 10 or 11 days. Is that worth it? Like if I were in the area, yeah, that's fine. If I'm not in the area, to like drive like a few states over to work, like I don't even know if you'd work every single day to work like 9-10 days. I don't know how it works. I don't know. I hear the rates for like traveling series are much higher than what I got at Orleans. That could make it more worth it. I think later in the year I'm gonna be somewhere, this is just by chance, where a WSOP circuit stop will be. And I'll try to talk to whoever is like highest up in charge and get some answers and see what it's like to work a series. Definitely don't want to work like every single stop. Actually, you can't, because some of them overlap sometimes. But I don't know, another like 1 to 3 throughout the year besides the summer. I would be up for considering that, but I have some questions. So that covers like me dealing outside Vegas the rest of the year. Actually thought about next summer, what if I had 2 positions? It's interesting because Orleans, I don't know if this is every year, but Orleans this year, you know, there were those busy days where I was not on the schedule, and they just sent out an email like, it's really busy, we need dealers, and I went in. Also, this year, not many people signed up for the latest shift, so we were told we could just come in on our days off on that late shift. I don't know if those things are going to be the case every year, but if they are, Orleans is really like almost 1.5 jobs. With all those extra days and hours you can get. Because at first, like a few weeks ago, I was thinking, you know, from everything people tell me about Wynn, it's a very good amount of money per hour, but you don't get a ton of days, nor do you get a ton of hours. But maybe I could use that to my advantage and get like 1.5 jobs, not overdo it too much, do Orleans plus Wynn. But then I was thinking, what's the point? I could just like take Orleans up on every offer to come in when it's unexpectedly busy, and come in on my days off and like just deal with one place and pretty much get 1.5 jobs from Orleans. I think the only reason I would do 2 positions next summer, which I am considering, is if I wanted to go crazy and do like 2 full positions. Now that would mean, you know, 5 days at Orleans, 5 days somewhere else. Hopefully the days off are staggered. So, you know, I wouldn't want 5 doubles per week and 2 days totally off. I would probably rather have like 3 days. Yeah, like if I had Monday, Tuesday off like I did this year at Orleans, have another place where I work like Monday through Friday. So Monday, Tuesday would just be 1 shift each. Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday would be 3, but then Saturday, Sunday would be 1. So 4 days are 1 shift each, and 3 days do doubles. I don't know. I don't even know if that's possible. I don't know if I said to one place, yeah, I could work 5 days, but they need to be these 5 days, if that would happen. But considering it, but mostly leaning towards just Orleans. And the thing about Orleans is, with that day I had the headache, and with the 2 days my tooth hurt, and with the last week not going in on the, I could have gone in on those slow days, I chose not to. I left about 18 hours out there. So all the hours I worked, I could have gotten about 18 more. It really was a solid number. Pretty close. I mean, if I'm saying like 1.5 jobs means like 60 hours a week, it wasn't quite that much, but it was pretty good. It was definitely enough to turn me off from the idea of looking for like 40 a week at Orleans and 20 a week at Wynn. That would just be a hassle for like barely more dollars. So we'll see what happens next year, but I'm considering some things. And one more thing I wanted to say. Oh, the third thing I kind of mentioned, I was, you know, dealing outside Vegas. Kind of mentioned that already. I meant to leave it for the last part, but to be a little more exhaustive, I mean, what would be totally ideal would be like something in February between New York and Vegas. You know, if it was like, if the circuit stop at the time were Northern California, that's 2 out of the way. But if I'm gonna be driving from New York to Vegas anyway at the start of the year, stopping somewhere to deal for 10 days, and then after my time in Vegas is done, like towards the end of the year, if like November, December, on my way back to New York, if there's a stop somewhere not too far out of the way, like Southern Florida would be 2 out of the way, but like Hammond or, I don't know, I'm not so familiar with like every circuit stop. Oklahoma wouldn't be 2 out of the way. That would be like totally ideal for me. No idea if like signing up to work with the World Series of Poker circuit means I could just say yes or no to every stop that I feel like, but I have some questions and I'll try to contact the right people and get some answers. So that is a wrap on all these videos. So thanks for coming along for this journey that really started for me back in like December when I started shuffling to prepare for the audition. The first, I think, I talked about it a lot, but the first like actual video for you guys was that day in April. I went to the audition thanks to that viewer again who told me he saw on Twitter they were having auditions. I was checking fairly frequently. I hadn't checked like that day or the day before. So thanks to that viewer for letting me know about that first audition day. And I went there and I got the position, and the rest you saw in the last many videos. So tomorrow, getting back to more typical stuff, poker, Vegas, some of the segments you've seen, and a lot of play coming up, some very specific types of play coming up for me in Vegas in the month of August. And remember, rice is a spoon food.